What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into beautiful PXG here. I'm hanging out with my man Shawn Barber. It's 21 questions presented by you, the fine folks at Chiefs Kingdom. We're answering questions coming up here next on 21 Questions.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
Like I mentioned, 21 questions, hanging out with Shawn Barber, former Kansas City Chiefs linebacker here at PXG. Barber, tell me about this place.
21, can you do something for me? Yeah, that's the feeling I got when I step into the building.
Yes, sir.
Man, and listen, the bays are phenomenal. The staff is phenomenal, man. Come in here and make sure you see Jacob, see Alex. Get your game tight, man. Get your clubs all dialed up, knowing your distances for each one of your clubs. I mean, that's a necessity to hitting a low score. So anybody out there trying to improve their golf game, make your way to PXG Overland Park. And yeah, me and my man Nip Tuck, y'all don't know about this. When you see us together, it's Nip Tuck style. We cut all the fat off the bacon. It's pristine. We're going to give you just nuggets of wisdom and knowledge to help your NFL game. So, hey, man, let's go. 21 questions.
Let's do it. And 21 is loose, right? I'm not going to count them out one by one for you guys. You guys can count at home if
I'm dropping the mic at 21.
Barber's keeping track because he's probably waiting on that restructured contract money to come through, right?
That's hey, man, push it all to the front. Guarantee that 210 over 4 years. I like it. I love it, actually. I think it's going to do great things for the Chiefs, especially somewhere around 2027. Yep. We're going to have so much flexibility as an organization. It's going to put us, again, light years in front of all the competition, which it happened 3-4 years ago when Pat first signed this deal. So we just keep making moves, man. We keep making power moves.
First things first, we're going to take some questions from our Discord channel. If you are not a part of the Discord, you can subscribe to the KCSN Substack, kcsn.substack.com. $30 a year, $5 a month will get you access to that Discord, just like a giant chat room. It's like a good Twitter, you can say, Barbara.
X.
A good X.
A good X.
But we'll be if you see me looking down on my phone, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking questions from the Discord that we got. Also, for you guys joining us live, drop those in the comment section because Barbara and I will be taking those live as well. But Barbara, I want to start with a first question.
Let's go.
That we got early at the part of last week after 21 questions. BJ Kissel, Mike DeVito did that one. Today, Andrew Hunter is going to kick us off, and he said, "Would it be crazy to tank for Marvin Harrison Jr.?"
Man, so I put out this. I'm on a thread with a lot of guys in the media, and in the preseason, I think I put out a trade scenario before Chris Jones got traded. I mean, got signed, extended his 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Right before that got done, I was willing to give him up to the Arizona Cardinals or the Chicago Bears and hope for that first or second pick overall. So not really tanking the season, but definitely giving away a crucial asset in order to get. I mean, you got to get the first pick or second pick to have him. Yeah. He's going, after Caleb Williams, he's going to be the first guy off the board. Phenomenal receiver from Ohio State, man. I love what he's doing. So it wouldn't be crazy. I'm not in the tank. I don't lose on purpose in life. In life, I don't lose them on purpose.
It's a philosophy thing, and I appreciate that about you, Barber. But you're right. Would it be fun to see Marvin Harrison Jr. in the offense with Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely. I don't know, and this is something that Sterling Holmes from Sports Radio 810 has brought up, and we've had a conversation about the first round, about the number 1 overall pick, if it's become overvalued.
Yes.
You saw how much the Carolina Panthers gave up to the Chicago Bears. Has that number 1 overall pick, Barbara, to you, this is off script question.
Yeah.
Do you think that number 1 overall pick has kind of become a little overvalued?
I think so. I think even going back to the Bears to get Mitch Trubisky, the package they gave, was it the 49ers?
To get us like number 3, I think it was.
Oh, to get up to number 3.
But still,
yeah, to get one of those premium picks, whether it's first, second, or third, and get that player of choice, it has become overvalued. It is something that you'll see in organizations, teams. I mean, they get locked in on a player that they love without the understanding or without the appreciation of. There's a lot of great athletes that come out every year. Mm-hmm. And some of the most underdrafted, underevaluated guys end up being some of the jewels of the draft every year.
Right.
So, I mean, giving up all this extra draft capital just for this one player that you deem as being the elite of the elite, I think that's just that's what losing franchises continues to do, and that's why they stay losing, because they overvalue the pick, they put too much into it, and they never get the return on their investment.
I agree. I'm right there with you. It'd be interesting to see how I want to kind of see some more weapons, some of those younger wide receivers in Kansas City, which we got some questions about wide receivers coming to Kansas City later on. But this first one comes from Jordan Foote. He asked us this on YouTube Barbershop. How legit of a threat to the Chiefs is Miami?
So I think Miami can be in the playoff picture. I think Miami is going to have a chance to win the East. Unfortunately, it's too much just wrapped up in the health of their quarterback. There's nothing that shows me that Tua has the ability to stay healthy. And we're not talking about college no more. This is a professional. This is football. These guys are 275 pounds running 4.3s, 4.4s. One unexpected hit is going to, that's going to be it for him for the season. So I just think that with the brain trauma and the concussions, his history would tell me that that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. The first thing he needs to do is stay healthy for a whole season. And then once he proves he can stay healthy for 17 games, I'm willing to say he's going to be able to make the Miami Dolphins a contender with the Kansas City Chiefs.
They got some dudes on that team.
They got dudes. They got the dude in Cheetah, and then they got another dude in Waddle. And most of it is F. I mean, the offensive game plan is phenomenal. The way they're using the running game to set up the pass game, and then they're taking deep shots at you, and they got these kind of receivers that you just can't guard. You can't go man with them in zone. You're just giving them 20 yards a chunk. So there's really no defense for them. You got to just outscore them. You're going to see the Miami Dolphins. If you ask me, they're going to be the highest scoring team in the league this season. It might not even be close, tell the truth.
They're a very fun team to watch. And when I was watching them on Sunday Night Football, one of the things that I saw them use a whole lot are these burst motions.
Yes.
And those burst motions, we might get a little nerdy here.
Don't want
to get too much into the weeds here. But the burst motions that they use with the personnel that they have is something that really gets those guys going full speed in a way that you can react within the rules. In CFL you got guys running up from 10 yards behind. This is a legal way to get that done, especially when you see Tua, especially when you have Tyreek Hill going out on a burst motion. He can kind of turn and throw it to a spot because Tyreek's already running up full speed. I like the way they run their offense. That's what makes them so fun. And they've got some dudes there, as we mentioned, and they're going to get Jalen Ramsey back at some point this year. I mean, their defense isn't bad either. So I do think that Miami might be, because it feels like we've gone through this cycle a lot here, Barber, where we talk about in the Mahomes era, it was the Ravens. You got to watch out for the Ravens. The Ravens are going to be the team to watch. And then it was, got to watch out for the Bills. Got to watch out for the Chargers. Now you got to watch out for the Bengals.
Oh, Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, now it's going to be Miami. Now I think it's Miami. Now it's the Dolphins. You got to watch out for those guys. But
2 seasons. Every competitor, every contender for the Chiefs has a 2-season shelf life, and then they get stale, outdated. The born-on date goes bad like a beer. Mm-hmm. And we put them back on the shelf until they reload again. Well, we talk about availability is best ability. Well, guess what? Waddle's dealing with a concussion now. Yeah. Right. So now, again, if they don't have all their horses lined up, everyone ready to go. I think there's a big fall off between their starters and then the plan B. Mm-hmm. And so they just don't have that next man up mentality. And it starts with the quarterback, but now it's also, like we said, with Waddle with the concussion. So yes, a healthy, full, ready to go Miami Dolphins team can give anybody a run for their money. The question is, when it comes to weeks 15, 16, 17, and then the playoff, at what stage of availability will you have the Miami Dolphins?
I think it's a great question, but shout out Jordan in the comment section for that. If you are watching live at the time, we'd love to take your comments and your questions as we go. Cole Keller in the comment section here. The Bears traded up to number 2 from number 3 to get Trubisky. So that's how that package went there. Appreciate you keeping us clean there, Cole. Keeping us honest. But we're gonna jump back into the Discord. I think this is a really good question from Ross here. What is your favorite subtle experience of Kansas City? He gives his an example. Smelling the Wonder Bread factory and the roasting coffee downtown while driving is something that he misses a lot.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite subtle experiences of Kansas City?
Man, I guess it just happened recently, man. I'm a football guy, but I actually had a son that actually signed with the Royals. Mm-hmm. And to be my wife actually didn't follow baseball growing up. And somewhere around the 14-15 season when the Royals went on a run, she became an avid Royals fan to the point where now she knows the roster. She knows who's, in the farm league coming up and everything, way more than I know. And then for our son to be a walk-on at Kansas for football, and then after the MLB draft, offered a free agent deal to actually sign with the Royals and be a player for the team that his mom roots for. Man, that's a phenomenal experience. I never would have dreamed of something like that happening. I have some lofty dreams in life, but having my son sign with the MLB is something that just I will always remember being here in Kansas City and being a part of the Royals family. And then having the owner, Sherman, actually come up to me during the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert. I had the luxury of sitting in the Chiefs suite, and I had Sherman comes over and says, "Hey, are you Noah Barber's dad?" And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I really admire him saying like I'm not Shawn Barber, but I'm Noah Barber's dad. Yeah. See, I'm so glad we signed that young man. He seems to be a bright young man, man. A great future for this organization. And I was just so surprised that an owner would know a free agent signing, not one of the 20 draft picks, but like the last guy that they ended up signing. So that shows what kind of class that that ownership group has. So.
What I think is really cool about Kansas City, and I haven't, lived here my whole life. I'm from small town Missouri, middle Missouri. Yeah. Small town Missouri. But I think that this is the biggest small town about Kansas City. It feels like that.
Midwest values.
Yeah. And then I think that's kind of what is so cool about it. Just you seem like you can bump into someone anywhere that you know. Yeah. Even though it's a big city. I mean, the surrounding area is really big, but it just feels so small town, the Midwestern feel, obviously. Is really cool, and kind of to what you're talking about too, with just the Midwestern values of even going to the sports ownership teams is really cool. That's a cool story. Glad that you got to share that. But in terms of like experiences in Kansas City, the smelling of coffee is a good one. But I also like Southwest Boulevard. You go down there and you have all those Mexican restaurants, and you can kind of smell it. Starting with Manny's and all that. That's one of the things when you start talking about smells that I started to think of. All those Mexican restaurants.
I'm gonna be honest, Tuck, I'm a cigar guy. So I'm a cigar guy, and I'm telling you, listen, between the Outlaw, between Fidel's, between Fireside, I mean, those are some really unique spots to go out and have a bourbon and a cigar. Like, to me, besides having a date with my wife, that's heaven for me. You want to get me in my yes moment. You want me to say yes to anything? Find me at Fireside. Find me in one of these cigar spots with a nice Pappy Van Winkle cigar, like nice Pappy aged in a whiskey barrel type cigar. Ooh, a little pigtail on it. Man, I'm listen, man. Don't get me started. Don't get me down this road with these cigars, man.
We need a special episode of The Process.
Ooh,
sitting back smoking some cigars.
Maybe at Debo's. On the plaza.
Listen.
You out there listening? Debo's on the plaza. You might be able to get The Process coming to you.
We'll have to see. But jumping back into the Discord, this one is from Zach. He asked, what is the argument not to bring Travis Kelce in line with the top tight end pricing market?
I mean, I think overall for the salary cap, it works to our benefit because if you paid him what he's worth, you would have to pay him almost $30 million a year.
Yeah.
If the value per 100 plus catches every year, the amount of touchdowns, double digits, there's no reason why he shouldn't be paid the exact same as Adams from Vegas or any of the premier
wide receiver. Yeah.
Because that's what at the end of the day, that's what he's getting done. He's receiving the ball at a high rate. So I think it actually works to the Chiefs' benefit that we can kind of hide him or stash him in that tight end box for a few more seasons at least, and let's share that money elsewhere right now. So I don't think that there's anybody from the Kansas City Chiefs area, the fan base, who wants to be paying the tight end $30 million while everybody else is getting 15.
That's a tough sell for sure. I think his age is kind of one of those things too that if I know you're trying to build. The question is like trying to build an argument against Travis Kelce, which is not something I like to do. The age is probably the biggest thing that you probably lean on when it comes to against Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Nate Taylor shared a really good anecdote from just like being in the locker room. And he said, Chris Jones was jumping up and down, celebrating. He was feeling good after that game, but Travis Kelce after that game, towel over his head. He was just beat up. Physically, he was worn out. And it just makes you wonder, when you hear stories like that, how much longer a guy who takes so much beating, like he takes a beating every single week, has left.
Well, the one thing we know is Father Time is undefeated.
Absolutely.
Like there's a time and place where everybody it's that 1 year that you just stayed 1 year too long, and hopefully Travis doesn't even get to that point when he feeling himself starting to get super run down and feel like, hey, I can't put in the whole season, can't put in the postseason's work. That's not, he has a legacy that he's leaving behind. He's already known as one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game, if not the greatest. You would hate to see that be tarnished by a few years of mediocrity when that's not really Killer Trav. Right? When we ain't seeing Killer Trav on the field, let's go ahead and hang up the cleats and call it, and let's get back into that podcasting world.
He's got a good podcast to boot too. But Barb, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a real short break, and we'll be right back after this, talking some more 21 questions here at PXG.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
We're back on 21 questions. Got a truth bomb dropped in us during that break. I don't know. That was an all-time cliffhanger by BJ Kissel.
21. Can you do something for me?
We might have to make a comment about that. What's going on in Chicago? Lots of stuff.
Till it's verified, man. Till it's verified. DA, FBI. Wow.
They're also placing Braxton Jones on the injured reserve. There's a lot going on in Chicago right now as they come to Kansas City for a 3:25 kickoff game. Shawn, what was this is also an off-script question here. I'm an off-script question asker.
I got you.
Favorite time to play when you were a player?
Prime time. Not the coach. Not the Buffaloes. Not we coming. Not I ain't hard to find. Not Dion. None of those. Prime time football. When I'm the only game on the menu, on the docket, when all my peers, all my family, ain't nothing to watch but me versus my opponent, that's when I think I played my best football. And it's probably sound a little bit narcissistic or something like that, but hey, it worked for me. It worked for me. I lasted 10 years waiting for those prime time. I couldn't wait to play those prime time games.
So, like, your mindset in the hotel, right? So you got to wait all day. I've heard a lot of guys say, like,
I'd reset my clock. I'd wake up, eat breakfast, work out during the day, and then I'd go back to sleep and try to like mimic the whole, a normal game. I'm waking up at 8 to kick off at 12. So I would like try to wake up at 4 to kick off at 7.
Okay.
So a little midday nap, a little calm, peace before the storm type thing. A
little tweet that I found out during professional move by me to ask you a question to buffer for me to research a little bit. BJ Kissel sending me a tweet as well. This is from at John Z Sports. John Zagel is the guy who is reporting this at the Hallis home of Chicago Bears, or Hallis Hall, home of the Chicago Bears, and defensive coordinator Alan Williams have both reportedly been raided in relation to an unspecified event. Williams' house was searched on Sunday night last week, and Hallis Hall was raided today by authorities. And this tweet says, "This is really bad" at the end.
For real?
As if you needed the FBI, you needed some more context to that. That is an insane situation going on. As a player, distraction-wise, that has to be. I know if you, as a player, you probably don't have anything to do with what's going on, but a distraction nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think one of the things we hear Coach Andy say, as a coaching staff, one of his priorities is to eliminate distractions.
Right.
In whatever fashion it comes, whether it's contracts, whether it's off the field personal things, whatever it is, distractions have never helped a team succeed at what call team goals. When you set standards for a team, the goals you want to achieve for a season, increasing the distractions never has made that more likely to happen.
Right.
So all in all, man, that's one thing you can say. Going in and out of a season, the only way to increase productivity is to eliminate and decrease distractions.
And this isn't even talking about what Justin Fields said at the press conference. I mean, there's just so much going on with what's going on in Chicago. A recipe for the Chiefs to get right, truthfully, as we'll have plenty of content for you here on KC Sports Network, getting ready to go. Also, Shawn Barber's The Process coming out. Great episode with Chase Kaufman.
Yeah.
Mizzou guy. Mizzou getting a big win.
Mizzou.
Sorry, BJ. Over the Kansas State Wildcats, big win for them as well.
61-yard field goal with 3 seconds left.
61
SEC record. I mean, that's a big game, man. A big game. I mean, I don't care if you was a Power Cat, Emu, whatever that is, every man a Wildcat, or if you are a Tiger. I mean, a hell of a ball game. I think both fan bases should want to see that game happen a lot more. It doesn't happen that often, right? That's not. They don't play that game that often.
I
right?
actually don't think it's on the schedule again. As of now, it's not on. They only scheduled a home and home, so it was like. Then they have Kansas in 25 and 26. So I think they need to keep. I would love it if Mizzou, and I know this isn't a Mizzou podcast, but I would love it if Mizzou would do 2 non-con games with Kansas and Kansas State, and like you have those 2 as your Power 5 non-con games every year. That'd be great. I think it's been great to renew the rivalry with some of the Big 12 teams that used to. I think Iowa State might have a contract with Mizzou right now for another year in the future because these college schedules, they do them like 10, 15 years in advance. It's insane. But I know they've got a lot of contracts out there too. But a question I'm seeing come through from Cole Keller, he says, do you guys think Travis would be interested in coaching our tight end group once he calls it a career? Do you think coaching is in the cards for Travis Kelce?
Yeah, man. Travis is a little bit too, let's say, frisky. He's pushing all the savvy, smooth. I mean, he's jet setting. He's on the ESPYs. He's rumored to be quietly romantic with.
Well, I don't know if you heard this. Jason came out and confirmed it.
No, I don't. I don't really put my nose in other people's relationships, but I do. I mean, every once in a while I hear a little something. I thought I heard a little whisper. It said something about like she got a song called Silent Night or Smooth Summers or Creepy Summertime.
Cruel Summer.
Oh, Cruel Summers.
There we go.
So I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, which probably makes me one of 1%. Swifties coming out. Hey, Swifties, follow me at Shawn Barber 59 and let me know what I'm missing. Follow the process. Get into the comments, get into the thread, and let me know what is your favorite Taylor Swift song, and tell me what am I missing.
There you go. I think that's great.
But no, I do not see Kelce getting into the coaching ranks. I think once he's finished playing the game, the entertainment, the movies, he's magical on the stage. Yeah. You saw the Saturday Night Live. I mean, he killed it on Saturday Night Live. So I mean, he's a natural entertainer, man. I think he'll stay in that role. I
think that's a good call. FAKC says MIZ, and he also says the barbershop with the barbershop emoji, sunglasses emoji, and the deuces. Ooh. So he is stoked that you are hanging out with us here on 21 Questions. This question is from Lee87. It's to me, so I'm going to ask myself this question. What does a typical work day / work week look like for me?
All up in your biz.
Hey,
Tuck. Real quick, 21 questions.
Yeah.
What does a work week look like for Tucker Franklin, a.k.a. Nip Tuck?
We haven't had this is like the first legit week schedule, following a Sunday game that we're getting into. Usually consists the lab and Only Weird Games going live Monday nights.
Okay.
Getting those podcasts up and ready for you guys to go. Lots of, we do 10 things. BJ Kissel and Haley Lewis, they come in. We record that podcast early in the morning.
Shout out to Haley
That's not
Lewis.
that early. It's 10 a.m. That's not that early. But we record that podcast to get it out to you guys that afternoon so you guys can have it for your commutes and everything like that. Tuesday is a little bit of a lighter day. Just when you're talking
NFL,
about
that's the day off. The players get in this cold tub. You get in the cold tub a little bit.
A little bit.
Rejuvenate.
Do some YouTube shorts, maybe.
Ooh.
Cut some YouTube shorts from there. I did a couple yesterday. You guys will be seeing on the YouTube channel. Wednesday, I get to see Barber. And
record the process.
We do the process. Do 21 questions sometimes. The show moves around, as you guys do know if you're listening to the podcast. But and then Thursday, it's getting in that game mode.
Yeah.
It's getting into that game mode with Only Weird Games again. KC Lab. Friday's getting 5 things. If you guys have been enjoying that show. It's been a fun one to put together. I like asking you what your thing to watch is. All these other podcasts, you get their point of view into it. But it's basically getting in that groove, getting in that rhythm, just as those guys do playing on Sundays. But it's good. I like it. I do.
Yeah, Tucker got some swag, y'all. Y'all understand? Hey, listen, I know Coach Prime made it personal, but I think when it comes to Tucker Franklin's work week, after about Wednesday, it gets personal. All right, it gets real personal. He takes a lot of pride in his work, and man, anybody who's been following any of the assets and streams and all the different the different levels of on air talent that we have on KCSN's different streams, whether it's KU, K State, Missouri, Royals, Chiefs, all the different the sporting, the current. Man, listen, shout out. This is an immense amount of talent, knowledge, wisdom that's being shared. So definitely follow, subscribe, make sure that you're a part of the movement that we're having. Obviously, shout out to BJ Kissel. It's his dream coming true. He's making it happen live and each day. So let's do it, man.
Great promo there. We're just going to clip that and use that for a promo for anything that we need. Cutting a WWE-esque promo right there.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have no comments so far about my legs. We got a lot of comments in the post-game show when I wore shorts about my legs. These might actually be the same shorts. Talking about my legs. I like the shorter inseam, Barber. I don't know about you when you wear shorts. Are you a short inseam guy?
Bro, if I show my calves on the stream right now, all of a sudden the whole inbox is gonna fill up about how nice I have the best looking calves any man has had in the last 100 years.
100 years.
100 years. I've never seen a guy ever in my lifetime, and therefore maybe 2 lifetimes. I'm 48, so about 2 lifetimes it even comes close to my calves. My calves are just immaculate.
I'll note that.
You got to meet me somewhere. See me on the golf course. Shout out again to PXG. Having us in the building.
Now open, as you can see the address there on your screen. Not a very good audio gag right there. I'll read it for you. It's 7517 West 119th Street in Overland Park, Kansas. Go check it out here as we're hanging out at PXG. A couple more questions before we take another break.
Let's go.
But first, got to shout out Clinton for saying thick thighs save lives. I appreciate it. Worked all my life for these thighs. Here's another question from Lee87. He just wants to know some of your favorite guys to watch in college football right now. He wants to kind of add some guys to like draft watching that he can do. Now Maddie Lane and I do which is now going to be live, our Barely Bowl eligible show, talking about some prospects in college football leading up to the week of games. A really good slate this week, so make sure to check that out. But Barber, who do you like watching college football now? Have you had the opportunity to watch a lot of college football?
I'm a star chaser when it comes to college. Luckily, listen, I was blessed to be able to go to the Shrine Bowl out in Vegas before the season started. And so I was able to see the upcoming guys, top 200, 300 players before they hit the draft. Obviously, shout out to the Shrine Bowl. We got a guy out there that's gets everybody all credentialed up and everything. So we're able to see these guys and get audio clips and ask them about their lives and their journey and get to know the person behind the mask. And man, listen, I learned so much from those players as far as what is the driving mechanism. So I knew Zay Flowers was going to be a monster.
Yeah.
After sitting down and having this conversation about like who is Zay Flowers and what is making him one of the most elite receivers at BC, and how does he plan on transitioning that work ethic and his demeanor and everything, his skill set to an NFL team. Didn't know it was the Ravens at that point, but an NFL team. And after that discussion, he checked all the boxes. So it was just a matter of finding a location destination, because once he arrived, he was going to push somebody for wide receiver 1 status, because that's the way he's built. So man, I'm again so blessed to have the opportunity to get exposed to those guys. And I think we're planning on doing something like that at all the All-Star games. So once those All-Star games after the season's over come around, man, stay tuned, follow. Make sure you're pulling up all the extra assets we're putting out about upcoming draft prospects and any of those tools, because man, we are delivering some great insight on guys before anybody else knows about them. And I think my man Tucky does a draft guide. He almost does a whole journal encyclopedia set of all the draft eligible guys, and I work my way through it, and I'm gonna highlight some guys every year.
Barber's a walking promo, man. I mean, we got to take him everywhere to promote our stuff. The KC Lab guys do a great job with the draft guide. I don't have anything to do with it as of now, but as I mentioned, Maddie Lane on the Always Draft channel feed. If you want to go find that on YouTube, Always Draft Season YouTube channel. That's where we will be going live talking college football prospects. So I'll use that as a professional tease. I'll use that question as a professional tease into what we got cooking on over there at Always Draft Season. Because listen, we do love the draft at KC Sports Network. Shout out to Eric Galco with the East West Shrine Bowl. Now moving to Dallas this year. No longer in Vegas. Going to be in Dallas this upcoming season. Very excited for that.
Frisco?
Yes, at the Star.
Ooh,
At the Star.
Hey man, everything big in Dallas. I don't know. I was having some troubles thinking about was my wife going to actually let me go to Vegas, because whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right.
I mean, I'm always in my best behavior now.
Yes.
But man, listen, Dallas, Big D, man, I got to be a part of that Shrine Bowl exposure when they go to Dallas. So
Yes,
looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a great time. You know what else is also a great time, Barber, is our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, as we're back with another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw $5 down on any of this week's epic matchups and walk away an instant winner. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Football is more fun when you're in on the action, so download the app now and use code KCSN at sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. With code KCSN, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. How about that, Barber?
Man, that's a lot of words. That was a lot of words. It all means something, though. It's all part of the purpose, all part of the product. So I like it.
They all do mean something. Next question here. Casey, he asked, can Shawn talk about the linebacker room and what he sees the ceiling this year? Look at you fired. I saw you perk up in your chair.
KC. I like that. KC. All right, linebackers, man. Listen, I have the utmost respect for my man Bolton. He is a mountain of a man working the middle of the field. He's light years ahead of where I was at my career. I didn't really learn how to play line. I was in the league for 10 years, but it was about my 4th or 5th year when I got to Philadelphia, and I took some extra time to really learn the nuances of the game, how your eyes and reading the triangle and understanding how offenses were attacking my position and attacking our defense, and how I had to fit a certain way to relieve double teams and to fit certain gaps and to be responsible for a second and third layer of responsibility. I call it learning your position 360 degrees around you. Usually your first, second year, you're just worrying about your own alignment, assignment, execution.
Yeah.
And after you get through your first, second, maybe in your third year, you start worrying about the guys in front of you. Let me make sure the tackles and the guards and the defense, the guys are hitting the right gaps. And then in your 5th, 6th, 7th career, you start worrying about the pass coverage type stuff. It's just a progression of not putting too much on your plate so you don't freeze from too much information. Bolton is playing like a 5th, 6th year guy in year 2, 3. He is you can tell he has a great football mind. Mm-hmm. And when you have a guy like that, I compare him a lot to Luke Kuechly. I compare him, we talked about Pat Willis earlier. We talked about some of the great linebackers, London Fletcher. There's a lot of linebackers I can think that played way beyond their level of athleticism, because if there's one thing that could hold him back is he is not an elite athlete when you talk about change of direction and being an athlete covering some of the tight ends they have today.
Yeah.
But what he does is when he gets there, he hits like a Mack truck. He's very, very hard on himself about leaky yardage. And I understand what that means. When he hits a guy, he expects the guy to go down, and that's it. No extra yards, no extra inches. Once he hits you, that's the end of the play. And so he was very hard on himself after that Lions game, because he felt like a couple of those Lions guys got away from him. Not a missed tackle, but just got an extra yard or two when they didn't earn it. They didn't deserve it. And so when you got guys like that, and I might have focused on him too long, but Willie Gay's now allowed to go sideline to sideline.
Yep.
use his athleticism. His man, he's a freakish athlete. He reminds me of LeVar Arrington. I played with LeVar for a number of years with the Commanders. Used to be the Redskins. I think about him like that. And then Drew Tranquil is probably closer to like a Scott Fujita, a playmaker just waiting to make plays. I play with Fujita here with the Chiefs. And Leo Chenault is
he's good.
Leo the Lion, man. He's finding himself a niche into the defense when maybe one wasn't even really prepared for him.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a position made for Leo Chenault, but he's such a well-rounded, solid football player that he's forcing the coordinator to actually play him because he's always making positive plays. He's always taking the blocks. He always assists on tackles, getting himself around the football, pressuring, hurrying the quarterback. So, I mean, across the board, I think we are really set in a really solid place when we talk about the future of the Kansas City Chiefs linebacking core.
It's pretty fun. And Leo Chenault's become a really fun guy to watch, I think. When you just think about his brain mixed with his physical ability, now it sometimes does take him a little bit to turn everything around, right, and change some direction. But he's a fun one. Nick Bolton, incredibly smart linebacker, and just incredibly smart. And what you want out of a Mike linebacker can get the guys in the situations. I think I saw the Chiefs put out a video about the Chris Jones sack where he says, Chris, find a matchup you like. Find somewhere to win and go win. And that's what Chris did, obviously, because Chris is really good. But I think a lot of times you see that too, of like guys just finding matchups that they want to win, and Nick being aware of that, like, hey, this is an important down. Let me tell I'm sure Chris already knew, right? But let me make sure that we're on the same page of go find a matchup you like and go win. That's what he did. Yeah,
communication, trust, and obviously having like that coach's mind on the field is so crucial to have it. Like we talk about trying to have a top 5 defense in the league. Everybody says, hey, historically, the Chiefs only needed a middle of the pack defense in order to win a championship. Well, guys on defense, no one's excited about being middle of the pack. Right. Like you don't give up all these hours and sacrifice time with your family and friends in the offseason to be middle of the pack. You strive for greatness. Everybody wants to be a top 3 defense as far as points allowed, yards given up, sacks, pressures, all the statistics and the measurables. We want to be a top 3 defense. And I think collectively this unit has because they're young in so many good places. They got a chance of really being collectively, cohesively one of the defenses you really got to deal with each and every week.
Yeah, I think so too. A good spot to be in for the Kansas City Chiefs. Once that offense starts clicking, it's going to be dangerous. But another question about the linebackers. Keith McLean asked this. Of our current linebackers, which does Shawn thinks most closely resembles him in style of play?
Oh, that's got to be big play Willie Gay. I mean, I'm all about the big plays now. You got to be a playmaker. If you ain't a playmaker, then you ain't gonna make no plays. You ain't gonna be on my defense. Listen, the only thing between air and opportunity. That's the only thing between me and you. Man, I was a part of a defense 02 with the Eagles in 06. Jim Johnson, God bless his soul, he's passed away. But there's a lot of remnants from that defense. It's Steve Spagnuolo was a assistant coach, a part of that staff when I was there. Also John Harbaugh, also Ron Rivera, just a number of Sean McDermott. I mean, all of those guys were part of that defensive staff. But we got so excited about the blitz game, about allowing linebackers to be one-on-one with running backs and tight ends, putting playmakers all over the field with the ability of making plays. We look for turnovers. We're looking for interceptions, not batted balls, not tackle for 2 yards. No, we're looking for tackle for loss, pressuring the quarterback, forcing his play clock to speed up so that we can make big plays, change determining, winning plays on the defensive side of the ball. It was an aggressive mindset that just got you got immersed in, and once I got exposed to it, it was no looking back. And I think that a player like Willie Gay has the athleticism, he has the energy, he has the, I mean, his voice, his whole, the way he expressed himself on the field is, I would say, very reminiscent of the linebacker I hope that I showcased on the field.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Big play, Willie Gay.
I've not heard that. Did you give him that nickname? Because I've not heard that nickname.
Not sure. Sounds good, though.
It does sound good. We love a good rhyme. A few more questions here. as we are hanging out at PXG, Parsons Extreme Golf. If you don't know about PXG, they have a wonderful fitting experience when it comes to clubs, when it comes to just hanging out. Honestly, great vibes here at PXG. They'll get you right for your golf game. I know the season's kind of winding down for golf, but truly now with like Top Golf and simulators, you can golf all year.
All year long.
There's no such thing as just a specific golf season. So make sure you get yourself right. Come out here at PXG. We like hanging out here. I was here a few weeks ago. Bill Self was hanging out here.
Oh yeah, I got a couple pictures. I snuck in the building, got me a picture with Coach Bill. Listen, I am a closet Jayhawk fan when it comes to the basketball team. There's a lot of football coaches on the program that I love the football program too. But hey, when you have a chance, if you're in Kansas City and you see Bill Self, you'd be a fool not to take a picture with that man. He's a god,
he's
walking
a legend.
god.
He's a legend. He really is. That's coming from a Mizzou fan. I know. Bill Self is a legend. I mean, you're someone's committed to go to KU to play football before he was signed. So I mean, no, you gotta have a little bit of a little bit of Jayhawk in you. But all right, let's wrap up with a few more questions here, Barber. Joel Pinfield asks, Kyle Pitts at the deadline. Who says no? I'm gonna say that the salary cap probably says no.
Is he talking about trying to make a trade for
Kyle Pitts at the deadline?
The Falcons at the deadline.
What would you give up?
Nothing. Again, I mean, honestly, the guy has a lot of measurables. He has freakish tendencies, athleticism, but even in the offense who's maybe not using him well, you want to see some more flashes of greatness. That there's got to be some more jump balls in the red zone and some plays like Waller, right? From they used to be with the Raiders, now with the Giants. Even when he wasn't on a great team, statistically, he was finding a way to make plays and show his worth. I'm not seeing the alpha. I'm not seeing the dog out of Pitts like I thought I would when he came out of Florida. Right, He was a big wide receiver made into a tight end. I don't know if he really has the grit, that dog in him, the determination to really be in the line, a tight end in the league. So I'm not as high on Pitts. I mean, I like Hayden Hurst. I like McBride out in Arizona. If there was a way to get maybe that young man. So there's a whole host of young tight ends that came out this last draft. So if that's the trend going forward with colleges, if there's going to be 4 or 5 premier big wide receivers playing tight end that just come out each year in the draft, I say don't trade anything for him. Let's just wait for the next Travis Kelce. Because in all due honesty, with Travis being who he is, we have to admit that part of Travis's greatness and his legacy is because he got paired up with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in an offense that was willing to utilize his skill set. So there's probably a lot of great tight ends that don't get to catch balls from 15 and don't have an offensive mind like Andy Reid in the building. So let's go back to that draft board and let's find one in college.
A very unusual situation that we get here in 21 Questions. We do these live every now and again. Joel Pinfield is actually in the comment section. He gave his thoughts here. He says Pitts gets to learn from Kelce, and he can act as an X wide receiver in the low red or backside of the 3x1. Rebuttal, Shawn.
Okay, Joe. Well, are we sure that Kelce is that mentorship type guy? Are we sure that he's going to let all the secrets out the bag? Maybe he's holding on to those because when you get to be a legendary status, you might not want to give up all the secrets of the trade. Like what makes him great is his see now I don't think Pitts played quarterback, but we know Kelce had right. He's a transformed quarterback, so he knows where all the bones, all the skeletons are. When you talk about a defense, every defense has to give up something. And so when an offensive player understands what's the weakness of the defense, and then it becomes time to run your route, and now you're off schedule, it's a race to find out who can get to that closet the fastest, who can find that skeleton. And Kelce is already at the closet waiting to open the door, and Pat is always able to find him. So I don't know if just bringing a next athlete in the building is going to be enough to have them be as effective as Kelce, because I think it's kind of cerebral also. He has that quarterback mindset. So I think you're going to have to we might have to do a little bit more research in that, Mr. Joel.
I think
Point, counterpoint.
I don't
rebuttal.
Think there's not a bad. There's not a wrong answer.
No, he's wrong. Okay, because I got the mic, so he's wrong.
Thank you, Shawn.
No doubt.
Appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna round up with a couple of food questions, Shawn. This question comes from Keith as well. If Shawn could only eat one barbecue dish for the rest of his life, which one would he choose?
I'm gonna be crazy with this because I used to love some burnt ends and ribs and barbecue chicken. I got me an exam down in Tulane, and they told me I have a high A1C, so I got to give up sugar. Well, I didn't know that barbecue sauce was high in sugar, and I haven't found a great barbecue sauce that is low in sugar. So until I find one, I'm kind of Nick-say on the barbecue A type person. So I'm gonna go with some sides. I like a pasta salad.
Yep.
I love like beans. I'm big into this cucumber onion salad they have at Q39. Has this vinegar base. It's like it's cucumbers and onions submerged. And it's like
all pickled. Yeah,
yeah,
I've had those before.
Oh my!
Yeah.
So I'm more of a fan and foodie of the side dishes than the main meals now. So I am not the Mr. Barbecue guy. Obviously, Q39 is my favorite of the barbecue joints. Jack Stack comes in a close second. Not sure if they're any kind of a sponsor of our or not. So hopefully I didn't piss off any sponsors, but as a personal choice, anybody out there, if you hit me up, you want to meet for some barbecue stuff, if you treat me to Q39, I'll tell you all the secrets I know about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Get all the secrets if you want barbecue. I've got one more question, but first I want to answer Keith's question. If I had to eat 5 pounds of burnt ends in one sitting or chug 6 seltzers without taking a break, I would obviously choose the 5 pounds of burnt ends.
Yeah, I'll take the burnt ends.
That's an easy question.
Being bloated ain't good.
No.
No, seltzer, bubbly guts, your chest, your belly, all that. Nothing about that feeling. No. Yeah, that's close to death, man. Can't get the gas out. You burping. That's not a good feeling at all. So I'll just sit there with the food.
You're telling me. I want to wrap up with this last question. I saw this question come through this morning, and I knew that
saved it for the end.
One that I wanted to ask.
The finale.
So shout out Derek in the Mountains. I got to give a shout out to Derek in the Mountains. He asked, "What is Shawn's welcome to the NFL moment?"
My welcome to the NFL moment, I was drafted in the 4th round by the Washington Redskins, which is now the Washington Commanders. All right, real quick. It's not going to be real quick, but my welcome to the NFL moment was realizing very early on that it was a business. Like going to college, you're around your buddies and y'all come in together and y'all there for 4 or 5 years. Well, when I got drafted and I ended up going to the Redskins, the Commanders, I realized there was a guy in front of me in every position. So I was a 2nd string will linebacker and the 2nd string nickel safety. There was a guy named he was number 22 from Nebraska. I can't remember his name, but he came out in 97. He kind of played the star position for Nebraska, and his name is Jamel Williams, maybe. Jamel Williams?
I'll look it up.
Something like that. Right now. So Jamel Williams ends up being the nickel safety, and I was backing him up. And then for the University of Miami, there was a will linebacker that came out of the U, and he was a draft pick. Both of these guys got drafted the year before I did. And so I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get on the field? Because in college, the best athlete just plays, but in the pros, you got signing bonuses and paychecks to kind of negotiate. Those guys with 2nd round draft picks. And I was a 4th round draft pick. So I literally had to beat these guys out. So I looked at each one of them and tried to figure out what was the weakness in their game and why were they not great players or not growing into great players. And what I realized was from Jamel, again, he was in Nebraska. I think he was number 22 for the Redskins at the time, Commanders. When it came to blitz coverage, whenever the teams made adjustments, he would get a little confused about who to pick up, whether it was a bump coverage or lock coverage. He would get his leverage wrong in man coverage sometimes. When he's supposed to be inside man, he would, get beat back inside. So I pinpointed that in his game. And then when it came to the will linebacker, also in blitz packages, there was a little bit of hesitancy when it came to fill the run gaps. And so I basically, in the first week of meeting my teammates, I found the weakness in the two guys' positions that I wanted. And I made it a purpose to show every day that I was better at those things than these guys. So I studied my butt off when it came to the third down and blitz package to make sure I knew my adjustments, my alignment, my assignments. I knew how to bump, when to lock coverage, to make me better at the nickel safety position. And then when it came time to blitz packages, I made sure to fill that run gap. Whatever gap I had to make sure I knew what it was and filled it with some intentionality. Russell, Twan Russell was the linebacker from Miami.
Okay.
So really early on in my career, what I guess my introduction to the NFL was realizing that, like, this is not just for kicks and giggles. This is not just a country club mentality where it's just, hey, now you're made it to the pros. You're going to be here for 3 or 4 years. Eventually you'll just, play. No, I had to go earn myself a spot. I wanted to make sure that when we started with 90 some players at training camp, and we carved it down to 53, each and every year, I thought I was the 53rd guy. Like, my mindset was every day of practice, I'm fighting my butt off to make sure I'm fighting for that 53rd seat, even when I was a starting linebacker.
Yeah.
Even when I started on the special, even when I got into my career and I was going places, and I was brought here in Kansas City in 2003 to be a starter, my training camp mindset was that of a first-year athlete trying to fight for that 53rd seat, to make sure that I was always had a place at the table. So maybe that's a little bit longer than we expected. But yeah, if you ask me, my welcome to the NFL moment was just realizing really early on that, like, everybody doesn't have a chance to make the team.
Yeah.
Training camp is training camp, but only 53 guys are going to be invited to that week 1 roster.
That's great. That's good stuff right there. I don't got anything to add. That's a great note to end on. Thank you, Shawn, for hanging out with us here at PXG. Parsons Extreme Golf. Make sure to check them out. Got some great stuff. I've been hitting their putters. Their putters have been nice in between shows we've been doing here. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us live. Listen to this after the fact. Make sure to catch Outside the Trenches. We'll be live tonight at 9 p.m. Myself and Brian Hanley. We're going to be talking some DPOY, some defensive player. There's been some great defensive performances around the NFL. That's what we're going to be talking about. Shawn, your show goes live tomorrow.
All right.
Tell the folks what we talk about.
Hey, the process, we break down what happened against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We also prelude to what's going on coming up against the Bears. Hey, the Bears are all over the place. We broke down a bunch of nuggets of information. Again, I had a guest on, Chase Kaufman, former tight end for Mizzou. He was in the building. Played with the Falcons, the Titans, and I think he had a cup of coffee, he said, with the Saints. So we broke down a bunch of the pretenders and contenders, which teams were pushing the panic buttons and which teams we were having more patience with. And hopefully all that information just makes you a more knowledgeable fan of the game. I tell you, in life, there's two segments. Whatever you're doing in life, you're either a follower or you're a fan. And the difference is the amount of information you're willing to digest and then to become knowledgeable and speak in wisdom. That's the difference between a follower and a fan. Let's get from being a fan of football and become followers of the process, featuring yours truly, Shawn Barber. And that gets uploaded every Thursday, presented by the McGinnis Group, which helping your health benefits needs, all your company and personal lines of personal and lines of insurance. Let the McGinnis Group be the group that looks at your current and existing policies, and we'll give you some more nuggets on how to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of in that aspect either. So again, Shawn Barber with the process. My man Tucker Franklin, Nip Tuck, 21. Can you do something for me?
I'll do it. We'll see you guys later. Appreciate you tuning in. See you soon.